Hello everyone, this is Greg from Mystery Honey, and today we're just going to be feeding the bees, I hope. It's supposed to be a nice sunny day today. It was supposed to be like 12 degrees C, and it was supposed to be nice and sunny, and yeah, I was hoping to show you the bees flying about for like the first time in, the year, like 2025. Unfortunately, let me show you what it's like. Hang on. It's bloody miserable! Look at that! Grey as out. Fantastic, thanks for that, bloody weatherman. So, yeah, it's not great, is it? So, may not be able to see any bees flying about and doing the first flights of the year. Just an FYI, if you do see bees flying about for the first time of the year, don't get too close to them. Generally, they've been holding in the poop for the whole of winter at this point, and the first warm day of winter, and yeah, they fly out and just excrete everywhere. So don't wear white if you have a beehive nearby and it's warm. Otherwise, you'll end up with yellow clothing. Right, so... Oh, another thing. I forgot about this. So yesterday I released a new product, and it was 2 kilograms of honey, because there's some people who've been buying honey off me, and they've been buying lots and lots and lots and lots of jars. And to be honest, I wanted to save them some money. So what I've done instead is I've started selling 2 kilogram buckets. And randomly, I did that yesterday, and someone's bought one already. I've only got 10 of the buckets. I just wanted to see what it was like, seeing how, if people wanted to buy them or not. And yeah, straight away, someone's bought one. That's crazy. So thank you very much for my customers. That's just phenomenal. Thank you so much. If you are a beekeeper and you're wanting to look for new products, maybe just increase the size of the jars and stuff like that you're doing. Maybe that's all you need, because people love honey. They really do love honey, and getting more of it is probably best, as long as they're saving a bit of money as well. Right, anyway, I'm going to get suited and booted and hopefully not freeze to death, and I'll see you in there, okay? Bye-bye. So it turns out I was wrong. We do have a few flights today. It's 8 degrees C, so the bees can come flying out today. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It means I have to have my hood up though, so I'm just going to zip it up. Oh. It's not all of them though, just this one at the moment. Anyway, let's crack on. Oh, nice and easy. Take the lid off. Let's have a look. Whoop. So these guys have eaten all of this food. So as the weather warms up, you can see the cluster there. It's quite big, isn't it? Wow. So as the weather warms up, the bees will start eating more and more food. I'm just going to do this while I go get some food for them. Back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Okay, so because the bees are clustered actually inside the bag, this might be a bit more difficult than usual. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this. The reason I'm not holding the knife by the handle here, I just want to make sure that I'm not penetrating through the plastic any more than that. So if I penetrate further than that, I might go into the polystyrene. Right. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so this time of year when things start to warm up, the bees decide that it's time to eat as much as possible to start building up the strength and start building up the numbers. This is great because it means that they're actually starting to, get the brood going and things going right and stuff. But it's bad because they will burn through all of their food very quickly. So you need to be very careful with this. So I'm going to peel this up very gently. I don't really want to upset anyone too much. Right. So as you can see, it's a pretty decent cluster in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shake them because I don't want them to go flying a bit too much. So let's go crazy. So there's a few in the bag. Don't worry too much. We can get them out in a second. All right, I'm just going to waft. I'm not going to put a load of smoke because I don't want to break that cluster too much. I'm just going to try and get these bees out of the way so they don't get squashed when I put the new bag on. So see, I don't know if you can see, but it's like the tiniest puffs of smoke just to get these bees out the way here. There's only 1 or 2 left, so I'm just going to use my nails. Use your nails because you can't get stung through your nails, to just nudge them out the way. The problem with bees at this time of year is that they are very grumpy. So if you are a bit reckless, they will sting you. So you have to be very careful. Right, the way to get these bees out, see, it looks a bit daft, but you knock them all to one side, so they all end up at the bottom, like that. And then you tear the other side open, like that. So now they all cluster at the bottom there. You've got a nice little opening there. And just shake them in like a big ball. There we are. And no bees left in there. Perfect. So they've got some new food now, so that's great. So moving on. Oh. Because of the time of year, I'm probably going to start coming every week rather than every 2 to 3 weeks. What I don't want now is starvation to occur. And it's this time of year that starvation is a massive danger to the bees. Right, next ones. These two. So, a little bit concerned about these guys. The numbers weren't great. Still a bit concerned about the queen. Don't know if she actually managed to get mated or not, but yeah, I gave them, last time I was here, I changed out the roof that they had because they had a Swienti one, which is over there somewhere, and I changed it for an Abello one just so I could give them some food. So it's been 2 weeks now, I think, since I was last here. So we'll have a look and see how much of that food that they've actually eaten. So they've nearly eaten all of it in 2 weeks. So I wonder if I can find a picture of what it looked like when I put it on compared to now, and you'll see the difference. So they have just been chomping away at this food. So they've got a little bit of food left. I'm just going to test how heavy they are through hefting. So 3, 2. So these guys are actually quite light. So I'm probably going to have to come next week to feed these guys, but I don't want to try and feed them when they've still got food left. But that's interesting. Okay. So that's how much food that they've gone through. So I don't know if you noticed during winter, when it's colder, they were barely going through any food at all. So just shows the difference between the warmth and the beginning of spring starting up. Oh, right. Let's go to the breeder queen. So yeah, I'm expecting to feed pretty much all of my colonies now. They should have burnt through all of their winter supplies. These guys have got a bit of fondant here as well. So I reckon next week these guys will need feeding. Let's give them a quick heft. Oh yeah, these guys are light as well. This is my breeder queen, so I definitely don't want her to perish. So what I might do actually, probably midweek I'll come and check them and just keep an eye on them, because as soon as that food goes, they'll start starving. So I want to make sure that they're getting some food. Okay, right, next. So this is colony number 5 from the production apiary. I'm trying to remember which one this one is. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one was the one that kept trying to kill itself off. I don't know if you remember that. In the end, I gave up and I thought, right, let's see what the colony does, because I tried requeening her, tried giving queen cells, tried joining her to a nuke and killed the queen from that nuke, and I couldn't see the queen in this other colony at all. They had no brood whatsoever, nothing, no indicators whatsoever. And then I thought, right, it's winter now, I'll give them some food and I'll just see how they work it out, because whatever I did, they were just doing the opposite. They were going against me. Anyway, they're still alive. I think I did see a queen, and I have no idea how she got in there, because they killed everyone else that I put in there. So yeah, this colony absolutely boggled me. So I'll have a look and see what they're like food-wise. So they have a lot of food here. Now, because they're all here, I'm a bit confused as to why they're not going into this one. So I'm just going to lift it up and have a look, see if they've actually reached this. Yes, they have. They have reached it. Sorry. So that means that they are getting into this food and they have started eating away at it, so that's good. I'll just put it back. They're doing fine. Big colony, big cluster, doing great. Bizarrely. Don't know how they've managed to survive this long, but they have. Good on them. Never going to complain about bees surviving. Just wish I knew how. If I ever figure out how this one survived, I'll let you know, but it's just... yeah, just confused the hell out of me. Right, this one. So this is the last imported queen. There's a big cluster there. It's kind of separated a bit. It's not as big as I was expecting. It's taken up a lot of space, but the bees aren't clustered together. They're just sort of like milling about near each other. So it's not a great formation. Generally, you want bees to be a tight-knit group. They are eating here, but I can see down these frames, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 4 seams of food in there, so they don't need food yet. Yeah, so they're all right. Next ones. Right then, so these guys are actually coming out. I just saw one fly out then, so I'll have a quick look. Last time I looked in here, they had quite a bit of food, so I'll have a quick look. Let's see. Whoa, big cluster. Look at that. Ho, ho, ho. And they still have food over here. I'm going to give them a quick heft. They still have a bit of food, so I don't really want to give them any more. Yeah, almost all these frames have food, so I want to leave it off. But look at that. They've come right to the surface here. And that's a good cluster. That's what you want. You want to see a nice big round circle. So put this back on. Remember what I said before? You lay it on very gently. And put your fingers in the seams there. And you sort of like wiggle it. And hopefully the bees will move out of the way. Moving on. What? So this one's hive number 11 from the production apiary. I think this one was called Rage. Right. Let's have a look at what these guys are up to. Oh, no food there. There's a colony there alive. Yeah, so there's a big cluster right there. So I'm going to close that off because I don't want them to come out. So I'm just going to go get some food. Where's my knife? There it is. So this is looking good. Now this is one of the hives that lost their roofs during the storm last year. So for them to be this strong is good. That's what I like to see. And yeah, let's give them some food, keep them going. They were a good colony last year. I think I got a bit of honey off them. A fair amount. So we'll see what they're like this year. Right, so as I showed you at the very beginning, there are bees in this bag here. There's a tiny bit of food there, but they're not really eating it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently take this off. Right, so the bees are flying out, so I'm going to have to smoke them, because I don't want them to come flying out. Because even though it's warm enough for them to fly, I don't really want them to use up that energy. So I'm going to start smoking them. So lift up and just do a little smoke. Just close it down. I don't really want to smoke them, because I don't want to break up any cluster that they've got. But I don't really have a choice at the moment. I need to get in there. Whenever I lift this packet off, they fly up, and I don't want them to do that. So, okay, so I've cleared that space there. Need to be quick. Put this on here. Now. Right, I'm going to get these prepared so I can just dump them inside. So remember what I said before? Shake them to one side. So they're all on one edge. So they're all there. Rip one edge off. Oh. Come on. This. The opposite side. Like so. So now they're all neatly packaged. Just going to pinch that so it turns into a bit more of a funnel. Lift this off and shake them down. Right, and then I'm going to try and brush these ones that are still going in. Ciao. No stragglers. And you as well. Go on. There we go. So, bees are in. That looks good. Moving forwards. Right, my last two nukes. These guys have been doing quite well. And I can see that there's quite a bit of activity. So what we're going to do is just lift it up. Oh, that's a lot of bees. Again, they're not clustering a lot, but there might be quite a lot of warmth in there, so they don't feel the need to cluster. So I'm just going to have a quick look down the seams and see if I can see any food. I can't, so I'm just going to heft them. 3 fingers, 2 fingers, 1 finger. Okay, so these guys probably need a bit of food. So I'm going to put the lid back on now while I get the food ready, because these guys are getting a bit antsy. I'll go get the food prepped. Back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Let's cut into this piece of fondant first. Just remember, hold it there so you can control the depth at which the blade goes in. Don't want to stick a knife through the lid of your colony. Okay, right. Got a nice little hole there. This aside, so what I'm going to do is, because they are everywhere up there and they're getting quite flyy, because it's the warmth, I'm going to just do a quick little puff and close the lid. So in there, there'll be smoke around the top, so hopefully that'll drive the bees down a little bit. And it'll get rid of any alarm pheromone that is going off at the moment, because sometimes bees, especially in winter, they're more than willing to set off that pheromone and get the whole thing riled up. So putting the smoke in there, it masks that smell, so it means that the bees are less likely to get angry and come flying at you. Right, it's been a few seconds. Let's have a look. There we go. Much fewer bees in there. Right, let's lift this up. Whoa, that's really stuck down. Whoa. Right, I'm going to put this down first. Oop. Try and make sure that the hole is above a seam so the bees can get to it. Right, as for you, the old trick I told you before. Hold it. All the bees are at the bottom. Like a hole. Shake them in. Right, sorted. Right, I'm going to put this lid on. These guys have got food now. Good. Let's have a look at the other one. So it's a smaller cluster. It's not as at the top as the other one. And I can still see a lot of food, I think. So this frame's got some food in it, as is this frame and this frame. So this has got quite a bit of food in. So I'll just do a quick heft and just check, because I don't want to feed them if there's food in the comb, because they need that space when spring starts to fill with nectar and fill with brood. If the comb is full when they're trying to fill it with nectar and brood, it starts off the swarm response, and that's when you get a lot of swarms setting off in spring. So we'll just do a quick check. Heft, so 3 fingers, 2 fingers. No, so it's 2 fingers. I'm going to leave these for a week and then come back with some more food next weekend. Right. So I'm not expecting much from this one, because last time I looked, all the bees were in the bottom of this bottom box here, right at the back. So I think they had quite a bit of food, but they may have eaten the food that they had down there, and then I've decided to move up here. We'll see. So they've definitely eaten some of the food. I don't think this colony is going to survive the winter, because they're not here. There's none near this food here. So unless there was a warm spell and they all came out, grabbed much food and then brought it down, I don't know. So I'm just going to have a quick look, because I think that this colony might have died. There's some bees, but they look very lackadaisical. So there is a cluster here, right here. They are moving about. Okay, so they moved from the bottom now, and they are up here. Okay, so they are about here now. Seems to be a bit of humidity. I forgot to think. Well, they have actually got some food in the frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. Have you got food there? Yeah, 5. So I've got 5 frames of food. So 5 frames of food. Say that 5 times fast. Right, so that's probably why they're not coming up for the fondant, because they've got that food there. So, right, put the lid back on. I can't do anything anyway. If they were dead, all I could do was seal them up and have a look at them when they get a chance. But at this point, you can't really do anything to a colony if you think it's dying. If it's dying because of the queen, then there's nothing you can do. If it's dying because of starvation, you can try and give them some food and see if they take it. Right, next. Whew. So they have eaten all that fondant. There's the colony right there. Yep, and the colony is right there. Now these guys are having an issue with humidity because, I don't know if you can see that, there's 3 indicators here. The first one is that this bag is full of water. The second one is that there's a bloody great big slug there and a slug at the back as well. So they're having an issue with humidity. So that to me means that something might be blocking the bottom, stopping the flow of air. It could just be that they're all up here. I'm just going to have a quick look. Don't do this in winter. This is just because I'm curious. But that colony's, yeah, that's a big colony. If you look there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slugs. That's a lot of slugs. So there's definitely a humidity problem with this guys here. But there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames of food already. So I'm not going to feed these guys. What I am going to do is I'm not going to put that on, that piece of plastic back on. I'm just going to leave that off, and hopefully some of the moisture can come off into the lid over here. Because it's not the cold that kills bees, it is moisture that kills bees. If bees get too humid, it doesn't matter the temperature really, they can die. So yeah, try to make it so there's very little humidity hanging about inside a colony. Anyway, on to the next ones. Right. Okay, so you can already see bees hanging about here. So they are in the top box. It's a lovely cluster actually. Wow, that is nice and tight. Good looking cluster. Now we have some food here and some food here, but they are starting to look a bit low. So if I can heft them. The problem is it's a 3-tiered box with 2 wooden boxes, so it's very hard to know if it's heavy because of the boxes or because of the food. But yeah, they look like they've got enough food for another week anyway. I'll come back and have a look. But these guys are doing well. This was my breeder queen from last year, if you're new to the channel. So she's doing quite well coming through winter. I'm glad with that. Right. So this one. So look. This was a swarm I caught. If I remember rightly, they had quite a lot of food left, so I decided not to give them food. They're still kicking it. Not particularly a cluster in here, but they've had the plug in, so it's probably quite warm. Quite a bit of humidity though I'm seeing, because there's slugs. As I said before, if there's slugs, there's a lot of humidity. Now looking at it, they've got 1 frame there that I can see. Tell you what, let's move you like that. Turn it upside down. Get out of the way just for a second. So I've got 1 frame there, food, slug right here, right in the midst of it. I hate slugs. Yeah, so thing is, they've got food. So if they've got food, you don't want to give them more. You want them to use all the food in the comb. Humidity. That's why there's humidity in here. It's because it's got Varroa board in. So don't leave your Varroa boards in, because you may get quite a lot of humidity in these colonies. So what I'm going to do is, now I've taken this out, I'll come back next week and we'll see how much this has dried out and if all the slugs have buggered off. But yeah, so they've got food, so I'm just going to leave them to it. I don't want to overfeed them. They've got a week's worth of food in there, so that's good. I'm also going to put that in as well to try and let it, you know, get some fresh air in, get the humidity out. Right, on to the last 4. Okay. Put up. Oh, so this has been eaten out, and there is still a cluster of bees hanging about, so that's good. So let's heft them, see what they're like. 1 finger. Oh, let's break the seal first. Oh, so 3 fingers, Jesus. So that feels like it's quite heavy. I'll expect them to. So they are chewing into the food supplies up top now. I can see because the comb looks ragged, so it looks like they're chewing into it. I reckon these guys need some food, so I want to give them some. I know it's heavy, but I think it's because of the 2 wooden boxes that it's heavy. So I'll give them some food now. Like, it's not the end of the world if you do give them too much food. You just, when it comes to the time you can actually open up and take frames out, it just means that you take some of the frames out that have food and save them for when you're building nukes. It's not the end of the world. It's just something that you have to keep on top of, really, more than anything else. Come on, come here. Out you come. Come on. Okay. Other than that, these guys seem to be okay. Which one are you? 9. So this was the second best one from last season. One that produced the second best amount of food, or rather honey, from last season. So these are quite special, actually. It was a bit of a tie between this one and the queen that I've chosen to be a breeder queen this year. So yeah. Right. Next. Right, let's have a look at these. So this one is the one that I took the top box from. Oh, I think a few months ago or last month, because they weren't using the top box and it was a relatively small colony. So we'll see what these guys are like. Which number was this? It's number 4. So this was number 4. So this is number 4. Then this is the Buckfast. Seems to be doing quite well. Oh, but it's definitely need. So this whole hive has been able to be lifted by 1 finger. So these guys definitely need food. So let's get some. Yeah. They're very aggressive as well. So another thing that you can see from starving bees is that they're very aggressive. And the reason for that is because, well, you'd be cranky if you hadn't eaten very much and you thought you were going to die. So I'll give them some food. Right. I'm going to have to do this just because someone set off the alarm pheromone. So as you can see, the bees are getting a bit frantic. Push that down there. Go away. Right, close you. Right. Get them away from the box. So because this is so close to the ground, what I might do is just leave it here so it's right next to it. I'll put this on top. So yeah, these guys are completely out of food. Come here. Go on, out. Right, I'm going to put that lid. I'll literally just put that lid down. So, oh, it's here, right in plain view. Right. Okay. Just 2 more, and then I'll go to the other apiary, and then I'm done. Okay. Just do these one. So I was watching Bob Binney the other day. He's another YouTuber beekeeper. He's quite famous in America, and he has quite a massive business when it comes to beekeeping. I think he manages thousands of bees, which is crazy. And what they do is they have a pallet of 4 bees, 4 hives, and they just take the lids off all 4 of them. And I know for a fact that if I did that, I would lose all the lids, and then I'd have 4 beehives with no lids, and all sorts of horrible stuff would be going on just because I'm so bloody useless. So I don't know how he manages it. Well, seems to do well. Anyway, there's a cluster there. So there's bees clustering there. There's no food there, so I'm going to heft them and see. 3 fingers. 2 fingers. No chance with 1. Right. I'm going to have a quick gander. Again, don't open your bees up unless you have to. I'm doing it, but I'm an idiot. I'm just seeing if I've got any food. So it's a big cluster, as you can see. It's a big cluster. But I think they need more food, so I'm going to give them some food. Usually you can see down the frames and see some wax cappings, but that's got none. So yeah, this time of year, when it starts warming up, the bees will just start churning through their food. So I have to be very vigilant about it, because the bees certainly aren't. Right, see how they react to me taking this off. If they start flying about, then I'm going to have to smoke them. No, they're doing alright actually. Okay, just knock them in. What I said. Do a little pathway for them, and then just funnel them into the hole. If you do any manoeuvring with bees, use your fingernails. Bees can't sting through fingernails. I'm going to plonk this down here. Get rid of these last ones. Good. They've got some food now. Right, last one. Okay, so that's not a great sign. Can't see any bees there. The bees I can see look dead. So I think we may have a dead out. Interesting. I've not killed these ones. Ooh. Yeah, so this is a dead out. Come closer. Oh, look. Oh, dear me. Well, this is crap. Oh. So, when you've got dead outs like this, there are a few things you need to do. I think I've gone over this before, but I want to go over it again, because we'll come across a dead out. First thing to do is clear out the bees, because they will start to decompose and rot, and they will ruin the frames. So that's job number 1. Before that, though, you need to go through the frames and see what it is that's killed them. My guess is that they've eaten themselves to death, so they have starved to death. That's my guess. The reason I say that is because I'm not seeing too much humidity. There is a slug there, but usually the lugs turn black. Like that one's turned kind of black, but that looks like it was black before and it's dried off a lot now. So the frames aren't black, so that to me says that this isn't humidity. There isn't moisture in the roof or anything. There's no water dripping everywhere. So yeah, I don't think it was humidity that killed these guys. I'll break it apart and just have a look. So indicators that it was starvation. Bees' bums sticking out of cells is one. Yeah, all of these are dead. I was just seeing if I could see any that were still alive, but no, they're dead, unfortunately. So this time of year, it's kind of hard to see if they died of any diseases. So what you need to look at is the wings. So wings, if they've got a disease, generally they look like they're deformed. So whereas you have these beautiful rounded wings, let's see if I can get you close so you can have a look. Sorry for showing you dead bees, but if you look here, these wings here are absolutely beautiful. They are untouched, stunning. So yeah, I can't see any deformed wings there. I don't see any deformed bodies either. Yeah. So that to me says, I've not gone through it all, but that to me kind of says that chances are it wasn't a disease in that case. We won't know for sure until we come across any brood, if there is any. Okay, so I'll have a look. So yeah, just look for any kinds of anything that looks off. Like if your bees look particularly shiny, the ones that, if they've started decomposing, then this becomes quite hard. But if you catch them like this, where they've only died recently, like these ones have, and they're still fluffy, just have a look, see if you can see any sliminess or greasiness. Like you don't want greasy looking bees or anything like that. These look all fine. Yeah. Just having a look into the cell, see if I can see any eggs or anything. So what I found here, which I said before was an indicator of starvation, was bees with bums sticking out in the cell. So hang on. So if you can see these bees with the bums sticking out, that is an indicator of starvation, because the bees are trying to search everywhere for food. They're going right to the bottom of the cells, which they don't normally do, and trying to lap up the last bit of food that's in there. So that's an indicator of it's being starvation. So, right. What I'll do is, I have a bit of a graveyard for bees here, because this isn't the first dead out this year, unfortunately. This year has been absolutely dreadful for beekeepers all over the world. America bee farmers have reported like 50% losses in their bees, which sounds like, oh, that's bad, but like you're dealing with thousands upon thousands of beehives in America. Like these bee farmers, the norm for a bee farmer in America is like 1,000 hives. So if they're losing 500 colonies, that's a wickedly large amount, you know? So yeah, these bees look okay. Right, I'm going to shake these out, and I'll come back and have a look at the next box. Let's have a look. So this is where the majority of the bees from the top box have fallen down. Yeah, so some foundation frames there. What we want to see is some brood, because if we see some brood, then we can do a proper disease check. So we're seeing even more signs of starvation. Some more bums sticking out of cells. Okay. Shake this off back in a sec. I'll show you. There we are. Some more bums sticking out of cells. Another thing that I've noticed is that there's just no food in this whatsoever. I can't see any honey or anything like that. So chances are that these guys have starved. I kind of knew that coming into it, but it's always best to check. Still continue the investigation, because you may be forgetting something. Aha! Found some brood of some sort. Yes, some capped brood here. This is another indicator that they were starving as well. So let's have a look. And there's the queen. So, okay. I'll show you the queen first. Poor girl. You see her with the green dot? She was a good queen, huh? Look at the size of her, she's massive. Right, so, have they all fallen off? Yeah. So, a sign of starvation is this. So if you can see the cappings here, so they've started chewing the cappings up and they've pulled out some of these larvae here. Like this is a nearly formed one. The reason they do that is because they're so hungry that they start to cannibalize their own brood to try and save themselves. So they've started hacking away at the cells here. Yeah, so I think this is 100% starvation. So the cappings there, they look dry, they don't look wet, they don't look sunken or anyway. They have holes in them, and that's because the bees have started eating them. And if you look here, you've got loads of bums sticking out of cells. So this is definitely starvation. Yeah, poor queen. Yeah, it's a shame, never mind. So with it being starvation, you can breathe a bit easier when it comes to spring, because one, it means that there's no disease in your apiary, because that's always bad, and two, it means that now when you make up nukes, you have some already drawn out frames, which gives them massive boosts, especially when you're transferring a nuke to a hive. It means you don't have to deal with foundation frames, and the nuke can just get on with it. Right, I'm going to shake these out. Back in a second. Tap this out. When dealing with the dead out, even though there's no food in here, so the chances of them being robbed out are very slim, always close the entrance. Always make sure that the entrance is closed so bees can't get in. What that means is that if there is any disease in here, even though I very much doubt there is, it means that it stops any bees from coming in and having a look around and investigate. Because they will do. If they smell dead bees, then they'll come and investigate. It also stops mice and other rodents getting in, and pests getting in to destroy the comb. Like wax moth as well. You don't want that getting in. So yeah. Right, I'm going to go put that over there and store it for until the end of spring. Now always remember, if you're not using something like these ratchet straps, put them in storage, keep them out of the way, because if you look here, they get battered just by being out in the elements, and if they're not being used for anything, then you're just getting them battered for no reason. So I'm just going to store them in the shed now. Just thought I'd bring it up while I remembered. Let's strap this one up and then we'll go to the other apiary. It's starting to warm up a little bit. That's good, isn't it? Right. Let's get going. Onwards and upwards. Right, I'm at the other apiary, the quarantine apiary, and yeah, looking at what's going on, it's amazing the difference a few miles makes. Now, my queen rearing apiary is in shade because of all the trees around it, whereas my quarantine apiary is, as you can see, nothing covering it at all. And because of that, it means that the sun can get to the bees. So let me show you what it looks like. So each one of these hives is absolutely bustling. So look, bees are coming in, and not only are they coming in with fresh pollen. Can you see that bee there? There's yellow. Ooh, there it is, going in. So these bees are coming in with pollen. That is incredible. So there's a pollen source nearby. This one as well. So that to me means that I don't think I might need to feed these. If they're finding a pollen source, then chances are they might be finding a nectar source of some sort. Now this one's in the shade, so I'm not surprised this one doesn't have loads of bees coming out. So, right, so I'm going to set you up, and yeah, we'll go through the hives here, but I don't think that I'm going to need to feed these guys. I have a feeling that there's going to be some fresh nectar coming in. And if that's the case, then it means that spring is almost here. Oh, it's exciting. Right, let's crack into this one. Remember, when you go between apiaries, it's good to change your gloves. Make sure that you're not transferring diseases from one apiary to another. I use nitrile gloves that are disposable. Some people use the thicker gloves that are also sting proof. I find them a bit hard to do, and also if you get any that are like a leather one, very hard to clean. So yeah, I use nitrile gloves. It means that I'm a bit more vulnerable to stings, but I've got a lot more dexterity. Right, so look. So these guys didn't have food. Feeling the edge of the inside of the lid, there's actually a lot of water building up here, so there's a lot of humidity. Now I'm wondering whether I've left the flooring for overflow, but I don't think I did. No, I definitely didn't. So reasons for that is that it's so hot and humid in here that when the vapor escapes this hole here, it hits the cold roof and it starts dropping down. My guess is that the cluster is right here. As it's quite warm now, I think it's about 12 degrees C, 13 degrees C. I'm just going to have a quick look. Let's have a look. Wow, look at the size of them. See how the cluster is right here, and there's a lot of heat being pumped out here. Just having a look, see if I can see any food. So if you want bees to move out of the way without nudging them or anything like that, just give them a quick blow. Go. And they'll move out of the way. It's a lovely smell. Lovely smell of bees. I can't see any direct food for them, so I'm going to heft them and just check. I may have to feed them after all, but we'll see. What's going on here? Oh. There we go. Right, let's heft them. Right, so 3 fingers. Okay, I can lift that with 3. 2 fingers. Okay, I can lift that with 2. Oh, it's hard to think. What I might do is I might give them half a packet, just to keep them going. The only reason I say that is because the second box in this one, so the bottom box, is made of plywood, 12mm birch ply, and that's quite heavy. It's a very heavy box compared to the polystyrene ones, so I'm a bit and ahhing whether I would actually be able to lift it if it was completely empty, if I was be able to lift it with 2 fingers. So I'm going to give them half a pack, and hopefully that'll tide them over for a bit longer. Now, the bees aren't being aggressive towards me, so it doesn't always mean that they're hungry. Oh, I don't know. Cut it in half anyway. As I said at the other apiary, if worse comes to worse and I've given them food and they've got some in the comb, then I can always just take the comb away that has food in it and give it to a nuke later on. It's a good, easy way of feeding them without using syrup. This knife is so blunt. I think I'm just going to have to bring strength it. There we go. Right, so I want to give them this. Budge them out of the way. Nudge it a bit closer so they can get to it. Sorted. I'm going to leave them with that for now. The fact that they're coming in with pollen is really good. It means that there's some flowers out there already that are producing pollen and usually sometimes nectar. Right, next one. There we go. Right. So, let's get rid of this grass. Blech. Right, so I had fed these guys and they're all out of food there. I'm going to give them a quick heft and see. Oh yeah, these guys, I think these need food. I can lift that with 2 fingers, so let's see. Gonna have a quick nosy, seems it's warm. So yeah, these guys are having issues with humidity. So remember before, look at that, wow, all the bees on the roof. Remember before I said that some frames would be black from the moisture? That is black with the moisture. So these guys are having some big issues with humidity. So I'm gonna put this back on. Have I left that in? I haven't left that in. This is something. It's getting really humid in here. So what I might do is I might give them this food here and put it to the side. And I won't seat this properly just so a bit more airflow can get in for them, because that's really bad. Humidity in here is really bad. Right, so I'm going to check as I did before. Shake them all to one side, right up the top, and deposit them in. That's a big ball. Right. Right, so I'm just going to put this to one side. So it means I can get to the food, but also there's getting out. Tell you what, I'll put it the other way just because then it's easier for me. Yeah, so it means that the humidity can get out and can seat in here. It doesn't matter if there's humidity in here, because if you look at the lips, the water will just pool here, so it won't drip back on the bees. What you don't want is humidity in the actual box itself, because if that's the case, then that'll drip back on the bees and it can kill them. So, yeah, it's not good. So I'm a bit concerned about humidity on that one. There's not really much you can do. So what I can do now is I can just pull that up slightly and just move it back, just so there's a little gap there. Now we've got a prevailing wind which comes this way, so what I might actually do is do it so it's this side that's got the gap instead. It's not a full-on gap, like it's not something that anything can crawl through, but it's enough that it will let hot, humid air get out. And I need to bring some WD-40 with me next time, because this is stiff. But yeah, so there you are. Hopefully that'll help the airflow and get rid of some of the humidity that's in there. Right, now time for the random fan favourite, Kate. Didn't realise that she'd garnered such a following. Oh. Right, grass. Right, so that colony is right there, as you can see, all clustered, and they're clustering in the bag, which is empty. So I'm just going to have a quick check. So they're not on one finger yet, but they're definitely on 2 fingers. Let's have a quick peek. Again, don't open up your hives. Do not follow my example in this one. This is because I'm curious, and this could kill my colony. So do not follow me on this one. This is just for curiosity's sake, and so you can have a look inside a hive, so you don't have to open your own up. Okay. So this colony is very strong and very big. This one is also dealing with humidity. You can see because there is a slug here, and the frames are wet and starting to go black. So that means there's a problem with humidity in all of these hives so far. So it could just be where we're at. Maybe the wind hasn't been coming as violently as recently. So anyway, I'm going to go get some more food for these guys. Back in a second. Right, because the humidity is so high, I'm going to give them half a bag and air it like I did the one next door. See if that can make things a bit easier for them. Yeah. I really need to sharpen this knife. It's just embarrassing at this state. There we go. Right. Lift this off and shake the bees down. Come on, down you go. There's a lot of humidity in this bag actually, so I don't really want to be shaking them. Come on, out you come. Oh, that's why, because the flaps come back. There you go. Right. I don't have to worry too much about them being in the top box though, because I'm going to leave this open to let some fresh air in. So there we go. Put it like that. Oh. And again, I'm going to seat this so it's not properly done. So that's it flush. So if I go like that, so slightly angled, means that there's going to be a gap here where air can get in and out. It won't lose all of the heat. It'll still retain the heat because it'll have this heat pocket here, but it means any moisture should run that way and hopefully out. He says hopefully. Oh, right. Nearly done. I can go home and see how my dad's done painting the new stands. Second to last. Right, so these guys didn't have any food put on. Now there is humidity up here, so okay, they're walking about, that's fine. So sometimes when they're sort of like wobbling a bit, like they are doing there, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Zoom you in so you can have a look. So the bees are kind of wobbling a bit rather than walking about. Sometimes that's a sign that they're a bit ill. I think they're just a bit hungry, so we'll have a look, see if we can heft them. 3 fingers, easy. 2 fingers, oh dear. Okay, so I'll lift up the top box and just see if they've got any food available. Like, it's a big cluster, looking at it. Wow, the size of that for a cluster. Oof. And this is what you get from high humidity. So if you can see there and here, this is mould growing. When it gets to spring and summer, they'll start being able to get rid of this. They'll chomp it up and spit it out. So they'll start getting rid of that. But this is still very humid, as you can see. These frames here are very wet. Looking, these have food here, a bit of food here and a bit of food here. There's not a lot, and the frames are looking really bad. I've bought a load of new frames from Den Rosa Apiaries. So what I'm going to do with the frames this year is any frames that I don't like the look of, that are looking a bit minging, or they're looking a bit battered, or sometimes they've got holes in the comb where the bees have just got bored and chewed into it. Anything like that, I'm just going to melt down, get rid of the frames, and I'm going to replace it with fresh foundation. Last year I had a spate where I was snapping the lugs off frames left, right and centre, and it was doing me head in. So anything that I have any issues with, I'm just not going to faff around with it anymore. I'll get rid of it, put fresh in, and the bees can draw it out. But same again as before, there's a lot of humidity in there. So what I'm going to do is put this in, because I think they need food. And as I said before, half on, let space around it, get out. And I'm going to put this on so it's off at a jaunty angle slightly, just so some airflow can get in. And hopefully next time we come, it'll be a lot drier. Right. So there's a lot of food there. The bees seem to be happy munching it. That's good. And because I really can't help myself. Let's have a look what it's like in there. So it's a big cluster in there. They're all happy. Cool. All right, leave them to it. Good work, guys. Yep, don't need to do any more with that. They've got food and the bees are doing well. Job done. I have to keep my hood on today because there's bees flying about. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, then please, I appreciate a like. And if you want to see more like this, then hit subscribe and have a look at my back catalogue. I've got quite a few videos from last year now. So the beekeeping season seems to be starting. We've got bees flying about, collecting pollen. There's a big pollen sacs on that one there. And my guess is that there's going to be some nectar out there as well. I've not seen that many flowers apart from some snowdrops here and there. But the bees have clearly found something. Who knows what. If you are into beekeeping or wanting to get into beekeeping and you're wanting to learn how to become a beekeeper, I've got 2 groups on Facebook. I've got Nonsensical Beekeeping, if you enjoy having a sense of humour and making some jokes. Anyone can join that one. And I've got one called Merseyside Beekeepers. Again, anyone can join it, especially if you can affect a Scouse accent, but feel free to join them. The Merseyside beekeeping one is good if you're in the Merseyside area, because it means that beekeepers around you can help you. So if you're having some issues and you want someone to come give you a hand, or you need some help lifting stuff or anything like that, just post it on Merseyside Beekeepers and you may get someone that's nearby giving you a hand. It's also good for deals as well. So if we buy bulk, lots of people put money together to buy stuff, you can get some really good discounts from some farming associations. Anyway, hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye bye.